Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode where we at 12:59. Happy Tuesday. It is muggy outside. If I went outside and if I just squeezed the air, I think it would rain out of my hands. That's how freaking humid it is outside. And I kind of like humidity. Actually, I don't kind of like it. I love humidity. It's beautiful. I love it. We don't get too much of it. We don't get too much humidity up here in Wisconsin, in the cheese land, but we're getting it this week. I think yesterday didn't seem like there was a heat advisory because our heat index was at times going to reach 110 or close to it, but it didn't feel like that. It actually felt hotter like last night or like late afternoon. It seemed to come in, and maybe it did come in later in the day, because when I went out in the morning and even around lunchtime, it's like it's not that bad outside. But before I went to the post office at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I had all my tables and signs were still in my car, and I'm like, I'm not going to drive around more with all these tables. I can't see out of my mirrors. So I unloaded all 20 tables, all the signs, and worked up a nice little sweat on my way to the post office, which I could use workouts like that a little bit more than once a month, I guess. So very muggy. My windows are just absolutely looks like it rained on them. Looks like you get out of a hot shower. That's what it looks like. That's what my windows look like. And anybody that's here, I guess, I say in the Midwest, but Brian, he's in Florida, in South Florida, in Miami, where it's like this all the time. Zach says we get plenty of humidity in Wisconsin. What are you talking about? Not nearly as much as Central Illinois. That's the one. So there's a couple differences. Having lived in Illinois most of my life, the two differences. When I moved to Wisconsin, people in Wisconsin said, "Get ready for the winters. They're really bad up here." And it's like they're not. They're the same. It's in half the time that I've been in Wisconsin, the winters have been like there's been more snow like in my hometown, a couple hours south, than what I've had here in Madison. The temperatures are the same in summer and winter. The temperatures are the same. It's hot in the summer at times. It's cold, really cold in the winter. There's two differences though. Spring is much different. That's the main difference I notice between where I'm at in Wisconsin and growing up in north central Illinois. The springs, we don't really get spring in Wisconsin. It's kind of like it goes from winter and then like summer, but it's late. It's summer light. Summer light. It's not quite spring. It's not quite summer. It's summer light. Lousy March weather. So like what I know, March is where I notice it the most. Where in March, where I grew up, not far away, 2.5 hours south, we would get it would touch 70 degrees, mid 60s. We get a lot of that in March and certainly in April. We don't get much of that here. Rarely does it hit 70 in March. It's always cold here in March, and shit, we'll get snow in April. So that's the biggest difference I've noticed weather-wise. And then number two is humidity. In where I grew up in north central Illinois, far more humid than what we get here. Do we get humidity? Yeah, we get it in spurts. We get it in spurts. Like it's going to be like 2 days this week where I grew up, not far away, it's like July and August. It's just humid all the time. Not all the time, but it's significantly more than we get. Do we get humidity in Wisconsin? Yes. But even 2 hours, 2.5 hours south, the humidity is far worse than what we see here. I wish we would get more humidity in southern Wisconsin. I miss days like this. I miss this because we get like 3 days of this in Wisconsin and about 30 in Illinois. So that's the difference. That's the difference. What else is going on? So I stayed inside. Ernie and I played. Ernie went to the office, had a good time. Ernie was a good boy yesterday. It was National Dog Day yesterday, so I was very happy to see a lot of doggies on Facebook throughout the day and night. So Ernie was a good boy. It's going to be a lot of Ernie time today. My wife's got showings all day in this beautiful heat and humidity, which she loves. Not. So a lot of Ernie time today. Tonight, we're going to go live, 7 p.m. Central, Hobby Evolution in prime time as we count down the auction endings. Football is the theme. Auctions ending tonight. I think the first auctions end at 7:15 this evening. So we're going to fire up the live stream around 7 o'clock tonight, and we're going to count down the auctions. I think the final auctions end around 8:45. So join me live tonight, 99centcards.com. That's where you're going to find the auctions. I think there's still 4 or 5 items that don't have bids yet. So check those out. We'll show off some of the updated bids here later this morning. 99centcards.com. Football is the theme, and there are 3 layover baseball auctions that were on the previous auction that went unpaid. And they went back in the hopper, and I think there's 3 of those that end as well. So I think there's about 50 auctions total that are ending tonight. We go live 7 p.m. Central to count down our football auctions. Also tonight, we're going to fire off the non-sport. Let's give a little preview. Shoot, where did I put those cards? I'll go grab. I think I know where they're at. Maybe I don't know where they're at. I do know where they're at. I had to move stuff around. I had to get stuff picked up last week. So I've got I think I'm going to do a lot on these because I don't know what they are. They're Pokemon. They're shiny. So we're just going to lot these up on the Pokemon. So here's the Pokemon Luxray. They're probably penny cards, but I don't know. We're going to let the auctions decide. So these Pokemon cards, who would have thought? Low roller scratchy, low roller scratcher. He's going to be so happy that I'm putting Pokemon at auction. So those Pokemon, we're just going to lot them up. I've got some F1. We've got some Chrome Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton. This is technically a baseball card, but he's not a baseball player, so he's going in the non-sports. Steve Aoki, first pitch. We've got an SI for kids, Jesse Owens. These are all going to fire off tonight at auction. A Spider-Man Fleer Ultra Spider-Man card from 1995. We've got a Max Schmeling Churchman's card from 1934, I think. We've got some soccer. Andressa Alves, and this is refractor out of 125. We've got a UFC Chuck Liddell. This is Topps Fire, numbered out of 142. We've got some NASCAR. Where's Kyle? We've got Rusty Wallace, event used tire cover. We've got Ryan Newman, event used tire cover. And a Mark Martin, event used tire cover. Those are going to auction. We've got UFC, Jersey Relic, or Matt Relic, Shorts Relic. I don't know. It's numbered out of 149. Thiago Santos. We've got another MMA, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, numbered out of 99. Goodwin Champions. We've got another Churchman's, Gene Tunney. We've got a golf front nine fabric, Jerry Kelly and Tom Lehman. We've got some Walking Dead authentic wardrobes. I think there's 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, there's 3 of them total. Another Walker and another Walker. So Walking Dead, Walker. Oh, we've got some net. Kyle, you've got to check out this week's auctions. These begin tonight. These auctions start tonight. This is Thad Moffitt, Prism Signatures. And this one is numbered out of 99. I don't know if these price tags, how accurate, because there was one that was, the price tag was $2 and it was a $20 card. So I don't know how accurate these price tags are. Here's Michael Annett, numbered out of 300 auto. NASCAR, I think. Here's a Kaz Grala auto out of 49. Here we've got, this is really cool. Pieces of the Past from 2018. This is a relic from Norman Rockwell. I love folks pumping up Norman Rockwell like it's 1927. Norman Rockwell, Pieces of the Past relic. Another golf. This is Justin Leonard with a dual patch. Oh, wow. Thad Moffitt is Richard Petty's grandson. I did not know that. We've got a boxing referee, rookie card, Mills Lane. Here's more NASCAR. Casey Kane, race used fire suit out of 145. Another NASCAR auto, Ryan Repko. Here's a Metal Universe snowboarding auto, Toby Miller. This is an autograph from 007. Not sure. Jerome Krabby. And Coco Gauff, tennis. This is the blue version from Goodwin Champions. So those, and I don't know how many. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's 30. I'm going to try to get to 50, and I think I can probably dig up some more non-sport stuff and other sport. I guess most of that's other sport. But we will try to find a few more to put at auction. So those start tonight. Those I'll probably fire those off. I'll probably do scheduled listings to start at 7:15 tonight. So they'll end next Tuesday. And we will do another live stream next Tuesday. But tonight, football ending at, I believe, 7:15 is the first auctions. And we'll go live starting at 7 p.m. to count down the final minutes, final hour of the football auctions that are ending tonight. 99centcards.com. Check out my store. I added over 300 items yesterday. A lot of football went up. Dan Marino and John Elway rookies went up. Lawrence Taylor rookie went up. A lot of other 80s rookies went up. I did add some baseball. My Spencer Torkelson from my $350 box purchase on Saturday sold for $90. Spencer Torkelson, $90. Bought and paid for this morning. So a nice little start to recouping my money there. Some of the other smaller cards I think did sell yesterday that I listed out of that box. So a nice little start from that purchase. Where are we at? Let's go to the chat. Brian, good morning. Good morning to Ernie. So Ernie wanted to sleep in, man. I woke up and he didn't really stir. And I got up and I was going to walk out and I'm like, If I don't take him out to go potty in about 30 to 45 minutes, he's going to wake up and have to go potty. And then mom's not going to be happy. So I took Ernie out to go potty. He didn't poop, though. Maybe he pooped last night. Usually he poops first thing in the morning. Didn't poop. I think he was still pretty groggy, like, because normally he's up, but I just wanted to like sneak him out, go potty, bring him back so he goes back to sleep. And he's been really good in the mornings. I take him out first thing. The first week he was very, it's playtime all the time. And so he's finally started to settle down. We still get bouts of crazed puppy Ernie, which I'm sure we'll have for another 2 years. He had the zoomies last night in the house, like did freaking there. It's funny because Ernie is the same breed as Biscuit was, and they actually come from the same breeder. And it's so just like people, like we are all so different from each other. And dogs are as well. And it's funny to compare Ernie to what Biscuit was like, because Biscuit was like scared of her own shadow, hated to eat, hated hardwood floors, would avoid everything in her way. If there was a leaf on the ground, she would like approach it slowly and walk around it. Ernie's just get a bull in a china shop. He's also a puppy. I'm sure Biscuit was. I didn't know Biscuit until my wife and I met. I think Biscuit was about 1.5 years old when my wife and I met. So I wasn't around Biscuit at this stage. But Ernie's just like loves to eat. The downside to being a bull in a china shop is I can't have him in the same room when I'm sorting cards, because he will go up and want to play with the cards. So that is a downside. But he gets zoomies like upstairs where there's mostly hardwood, and like Biscuit, we would, if we wanted to get the zoomies out, especially in the winter, we'd have to come down to the basement on the carpet, because she avoided the hardwood floors like they were lava, hot lava. Kyle's here. What's going on? Good morning. Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. Brian says, humidity on high here in Miami, rainy, hot, moist. Love it. Zach and Porter says, we get plenty of humidity. We talked about that. We don't get as much as I'd like. Victor says, good morning. The Cubs are hotter than the weather. Great game. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I didn't watch it, though. I just didn't want to watch last night. I don't know. I just wasn't in the mood. What did I had wrestling on. I had WWE Raw on. But it was fun. It was my wife's grandma had an issue, so my wife was away for a couple hours last night, and I turned wrestling on, and I brought in some 5-row boxes to kind of cherry pick, to basically turn into dime boxes. My quarter box is going to turn into dime boxes at the next show that I do, whenever that will be. And so I wanted to cherry pick. Okay, I'm going to put these. I have so much fucking modern Bowman. Like I want nothing to do with modern Bowman for the foreseeable future. And I love Bowman. It's coming out of my ears. So I did pull some like first Bowman, Adrian Del Castillo, who I know has got off to a hot start. Helio Ramos, I know he had a burst and was hot for a little while. I don't know if that's still the case. But I pulled some players like that, some other players that I pulled for some buyers that I have. So I was enjoying that and consolidating some boxes. Is anybody else excited to get supplies? Like, I used to hate buying supplies because that money was earmarked for cards. Like, I don't want to spend money on supplies when I can spend, I spent $100 what did I buy? $200 worth of 4-row boxes. I'm super excited about it. But like 10 years ago, I'm like, I don't want to spend $200. Like, I can buy a really nice card for $200. I don't want to buy boxes. Now it's like, I don't want to buy a $200 card. I want to buy boxes. And I'm excited for my 4 rows because I really, really want to, and something that I'm excited about doing. And East Coast Tom and I talked about this having dinner after the card show on Saturday was, I'm looking forward to helping other Cubs collectors fill some of their want lists. I have over 1 million Cubs cards. It's like, well, what's next? That's the famous what's next. Does there have to be a next? Like, can I just be a collector? Like, that's what I want. What's next? Well, I just want to go back to collecting what I want. I don't need to chase another crazy goal right now. Maybe I will at some point, but not now. Like, can I just take it all in, enjoy reaching my goal, and be a collector again? And part of being a collector, I think, is helping others. Over the last 7 years of collecting 1 million Cubs cards, I've met several other Cubs collectors, and many of them are like, do you have any Cubs in here? No, I don't sell my Cubs. I'm trying to collect 1 million Cubs. No, I'm not getting rid of Cubs. Well, when you ever do decide, like, I'm here, I've got a list and blah, blah, blah. And I don't like filling lists. Like, I don't like, because I don't want to take the time to sort and do all that stuff, especially for 25-cent cards. So, but I do want to help those people out, those collectors out. So I'm looking forward to going through and finding duplicates and curating boxes for card shows to sell, dollar boxes, quarter boxes. And I'm looking forward to doing that. And so that's part of what I bought the 4-row boxes, was to consolidate down. I've got so many. I mean, many of the boxes that my Cubs cards are in are still in medium flat rate boxes that were shipped to me. They're still in 800 count boxes that were sent to me like that. So many of the boxes, which is kind of cool, as I go back and the letters from people who sent me the cards are still in there. I threw so many letters away. I wish I would have kept more of them. But I did keep some from people that I knew, people in the chat. I've saved some of those letters. But I wish I would have kept more. But I'm consolidating into and being uniform. I don't know if Cooter's here. Cooter's probably working for the man right now, but uniformity and putting them all into 4 clean, nice, new 4-row boxes, not boxes that look like box 13, looks like they've been rained on and in a flood and all that. So nice, clean white boxes. And so I'm looking forward to going through, consolidating, finding some duplicates. And then at a future card show, I can unveil, here's some Cubs. Here's some Cubs. I don't need 1 million plus anymore. So we'll help fellow Cubs collectors out. Brian says, Mama says humidity is the devil. We're going to skip John's comment. Orlando says, hello, everyone. What's going on, Orlando? Brian says, apparently corn is to blame, causes higher humidity. So I've mentioned this before. When I was in morning radio, I was on this. I still remember, because I always believed that corn had a lot to do with high humidity. And the reason I believe that was, when is it the most humid in the Midwest? In the heat of summer, July and August. But is there a correlation? Because that's also when corn is at its peak, July and early August. And that's when we have the most humid. There's got to be something. There's moisture in corn. Like, you have to water the corn for it to grow, and then it goes into the plant and it's got to be releasing some moisture. I said this on my country when I was working country, Hot Country 104.7 WLMD. Well, I think that's what it was, Hot Country, or today's Hot Country 104.7 WLMD. So I was working the morning show on Hot Country 104.7 WLMD. And I mentioned that, in your morning shticks. And I'm like, I think humidity, I think that this heat and humidity is probably a day like this, a morning like this. Like, I think it's caused by the corn. And I had people just laughing at me. You moron, it's not from the corn. But I really did. And now there might have been science behind it back in 2005 or whatever year that was. But the internet wasn't like we didn't have social media back then. I don't even know if Facebook was a thing yet. But now we have all this, we're so interconnected. And I've seen on Facebook, the corn sweat is a thing. Meteorologists are talking about the corn sweat. And I'm just curious, like, has corn sweat always been a thing? Like, I never heard of it. And obviously my listeners had never heard of it 20 years ago. But now it's a thing. So I feel smart. I feel what's vindicated. I feel vindicated. And I hope one person could look back. I remember laughing at that guy on that radio station. He was right all these years later. John says, I'm about to rock 7 days of 3-digit temps. Gold bond for the win. There you go. I'm going to hang out in my 68-degree basement looking at my baseball cards. Orlando says, I'm so used to humidity since I grew up in South Florida. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're down there. It's just part of life. It's just everyday life. Brian says, triple medicated gold bond is the GOAT. Zach says, we get spring here in Wisconsin as well. This guy is as reliable as his takes on auctions and vintage. We do not get spring here. It's like a mix of it's like cold winter and cool winter, and then cold summer and hot summer. We're currently in hot summer right now. Last week it was cold summer. It was like 57 degrees last week, one of the days. Sheena's in the house. Matthew, what's going on? Matthew, what is up? My guy in Galesburg, Texas, hot. Yeah. Sheena's in the house. Good morning. Madison Card Show was awesome as always, but forgot to tell you about an interesting transaction that happened. Uh-oh. Do tell. Oh, he is going to tell. Okay. Sheena's transaction. A kid bought a $50 card from me for $35. The adult with him came back 5 minutes later, accusing me of selling him a $10 card. I showed them sold listings, and they were still not convinced. They didn't want a refund either. They asked to trade that $50 card for a different $45 card along with a $5 card. I said, sure, why not? Didn't want to cause a scene. They came back again 5 minutes later for a refund for their $35. What? I gave them the refund. Wish I didn't now that I think about it. I shouldn't be responsible for buyer's remorse. No. And if you see them again, let me know. Next month, if you see them at the show, reach out to me, because sometimes I'm hard to track down at the show, but easier next month since it'll only be 2 rooms. But if you see them, text me and let me know so I can keep an eye, because I don't want that happening. That's bullshit. You didn't have to do that. Very nice of you. But that's shitty. I don't want them people doing that to other dealers and doing that over and over. That's shitty. I'm sorry that happened. Where are we at? Kyle says people that work inside talk about humidity a lot more than people that work outdoors in it. Ironic. That is something, isn't it? Here I am talking about humidity. I like humidity though, but I'm not working outside in it. But here I am talking about it, and I'll take a break. Man, it's getting a little cold. I'll put a hoodie on down here, and then I'll take Ernie out and say, oh shit, it's really hot outside. I gotta shed this hoodie. It's oh man, it feels good out here though. Nice and hot and humid. Mark says, good morning. Spring is a rumor in New Jersey. Yeah, it is here too. I don't know what weather must be different over in Racine, because we don't get summer in Wisconsin. Every day is National Dog Day in my house. The rest of you are just posing. Amen. Amen. Might go live the same time. He's the man on Tuesday nights. I think there's enough room for two people to go live on YouTube at the same time. Johnny M, good morning. Had a few auctions end last night. Did about what I expected. I actually do better on Sport Lots auctions for the stuff I list than I do on eBay. That's interesting. Let's see. John says, sounds like Zach and Porter, but in reverse. Mr. Archer, good morning. Let's see. Peter says, good morning. Good luck with these auctions. Thank you. Flamingo full art card, maybe $5. I'll check. Is that the Pokemon? Remember when F1 was a big deal? Yeah, man, that crashed and burned, didn't it? Although when I'm going to tell you something though. Now, the prices, I'm sure, like that Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, I'm sure those were like $10, $20 cards at release. I think those are when they were released out, whatever. But I'll tell you what, I put those those F1 came in a bulk buy that I had. And I had a stack of like 50 or 75 that I put in my dollar box. I sold every single one of them. Yes, they were in a dollar box, but I probably had a nickel or less into those cards. Every damn one of them sold for $1 each. Remember when Steve Aoki was a big deal? Brian says, yep, about 4 to 5. Gary V was a big deal. Gary V is still a big deal. Steve Aoki is still a big deal, just in different circles. John says, I have a John Keating Senior Prom event used tire cover as well. Brian says, isn't Gary V still big? He is. Yes, absolutely. Love folks pumping up NASCAR like it's 1994. True salesman. That's right. I should have put, I'll put that in the Richard Petty's grandson. There's only 300 NASCAR fans, so of 300 means they all get one. Kyle, I know 4. Kyle and Val Mars and Logan and Ken. I only know 4, so there's 296 other NASCAR fans out there. Ryder Cup legend, Justin Leonard. Zach says, I let Porter negotiate for me at work too. Mills Lane was the man. Johnny M says, what exactly are listing impressions on eBay and how important are they? Mine are down 8%, but page views, sales conversion are both up. So listing impressions are eyeballs. So basically when you go, all right, let's go to my eBay store. All right, let's share my screen. All right, so we're on my eBay store. So when we go, let's go to newly listed, see all. All right, this is an impression. This is an impression. All of these now have an impression. We have seen these. Now, that's what an impression is. You just see the listing. Once we click on the Michael Jordan. This is a page view. So an impression is just scrolling on by. Once we click, this now becomes a page view. So that's the difference between impressions and page views. Sales conversion rate. Sales conversion rate, and you can actually see it on your page. So a sales conversion is the number of sales transactions divided by the number of listing page views. So basically it's the sales funnel. So people see your listing. If they're interested, they click on it. Sometimes they don't buy, but if they do buy, now that you've just converted that page view to a sale. So it's basically the sales funnel. So impression to page view to sale. And then that's where you get the sales conversion rate. Sales conversion rate can vary pretty dramatically. I've had mine. I don't know I didn't really pay much attention to it back during the heyday, but within the last couple of years, the highest it's been is like 11.5, maybe 12.5%. Right now, my sales conversion rate's 9.3%. I think anything above 7% is pretty solid. Anything below 7% is not that good. You probably want to do some stuff within your store. My sales conversion rate was probably hovering around 7.5% about a month, 6 weeks ago. But I think what's really boosted that is auctions are going to boost that because there's going to be more page views and you're going to sell those. So that's going to help. Those are like automatic sales. If there's a bid, it's a sale. Boom. And then 50% off sales usually skyrocket because people are going to click and buy. So that's the difference between all of those different analytics. Some people don't believe in them, but they are very important numbers in running your business and just kind of seeing how things are going. Because at the end of the day, your net sales is the most important, but you also need, if your net sales, and you kind of got to work backwards. Okay. The bottom line is the most important part. We all know that. But what if your bottom line is not where you want it to be? There are reasons that your sales aren't where they want to be. These are the numbers that you got to look at. Well, I've got a lot of impressions, but I don't have a very good sales conversion rate, or my page views are down. My page views are up. My impressions are down. And if your sales aren't where they want to be, take a look in what metric is down that should be higher and go from there. Cooter's in the house. Good morning. John says, thank you for calling NASCAR non-sport. Yeah. You know what? Wrestling is non-sport. NASCAR is non-sport. Golf, tennis, MMA, that all goes into the non-sport. Boxing, that all goes into the non-sport category. Track and field, soccer, sorry. Hockey, might even throw some hockey if I could find some. All non-sport. Zach and Porter says, I already paid $1 for that Rockwell. You are still listing it. I claimed that in this very chat. About to hit send on negative feedback. Please write you're wrong. Well, you can't claim it for $1 because the sticker price is $7. So it's $7. It'll probably sell for less than $7. Who knows? No claims in this chat. John says, I see people working harder at Dave & Buster's than NASCAR racers laying down for a few hours on Sunday. John says it's a fractional. Mark says, Gary V grew up near my neighborhood in Queens. We both moved to Jersey in our early teens. Zach and Porter says, is wrestling non-sport? It sure is. John says, they're stunt people's act, different union. I missed the 87 Montana tops. I took the afternoon off with an emergency therapist session. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I think I do have more 87 tops Montanas, though. Were they in this box? Or that box? It's funny, I got some of the similar cards. I got a bunch of Elway 87s. I know I have more Jerry Rice 87s. Oh, there's another Peyton. I have 84 Montanas. Maybe that was the only 87 Montana I had. I think there wasn't any more in here. Did I list? And I might have listed multiple because I thought I had multiple. And I thought I had more Jerry Rice also. I didn't see any Jerry Rices in there. Mark says, happy belated dog day to Ernie. Thank you. DPM Sports Cards in the house. Good morning. Good morning, Flawed Thinker. John says, Ernie will withdraw and become paranoid and more intolerant as he ages like most Americans. Cooter says, Mrs. Cooters asked for an official Hobby Evolution survey. Ooh, I like it. When you make a sandwich, do you put the condiment on the bottom or top slice of bread? A serious issue facing the Cooter household. Okay, so typically, if I'm making without any other, if it's just ham sandwich, if I'm only having a ham sandwich I put a piece of bread, the ham, and then the condiment on top of the ham, and then the top piece of bread. Now, if I'm putting tomatoes and lettuce on it, like a ham sandwich with like a summer sandwich, ham, tomato, lettuce, then I put bread, ham, condiment, lettuce or tomato, lettuce, or no. I did that backwards. I put bread, ham, condiment, lettuce, tomato, top piece of bread. But I guess I would say I put it on the top slice of the bread. Sometimes I'll put a little bit on the bottom slice of the bread, but I'd say more times than not, I'm putting the condiment on the top slice of bread. But I put the condiment on the actual meat, not the bread. Like I don't spread the condiment on the bread. So that could be another rabbit hole. Dan's in the house. What's going on? Trying to catch a last fish in a tank so I can make it a shrimp tank. He's going shrimping. Mark Marinello's here. He says, my 110-pound German Shepherd and 90-pound Staffy do zoomies in the house, like watching Earl Campbell run. Wow. I can only imagine what a 110-pound German Shepherd with zoomies in the house looks like. I've got my little 4-pound Ernie dog running all over the little zoomies. Brian says, I don't have an order for condiments unless I'm making a PB&J. So that's another thing. Okay, PB&J, and I go back and forth on this. PB&J, first of all, do you use a spoon or a knife when making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Second, what's your order of PB&J? So my order, and this is how I'll do it, and sometimes it depends. So if I put honey on, I will use a knife because I first put honey on one piece of bread, and then I'll put jelly on another piece of bread, and then I'll put the peanut butter on top of the honey. If I'm not using honey, I use a spoon. I used to always be a knife guy, but then people on Twitter were like, what? You got to use a spoon. Are you a psychopath using a knife on peanut butter and jelly? And then I started using a spoon. I'm like, this is life-changing. This is a life-changing move, using a spoon for peanut butter and jelly. And I always do jelly first, always in that order. Jelly first, and then peanut butter, because I use the same spoon. And you don't want to get peanut butter. I don't mind jelly in the peanut butter because you can just scoop it out easily. It's hard to scoop the peanut butter out of the jelly jar. So that's how I do it. John says, LOL, modern Bowman regret. Fortunately, it's like half a penny a card that I have into it. And I do pretty well on it, but there's so much volume and I buy so much of it. It's not regret. It's just, I'm not going to buy any more bulk. Can't speak for sellers, but collectors understand maintaining your collection is pretty damn important. Also, collectors will tell you that buying a big collection means acquiring free boxes as well. Absolutely. By the way, you look thinner. Congrats on that. Thank you. I think I'm down 20 pounds now. The battery went out in my scale, so I don't know. I don't have an official, but I went under 200 for the first time in a long time. The next should be a focus on scratch-offs and nails that deserve a cleaning. John says, I don't like going to card shops, looking to fill sets and having the worker say, just give me your list. I like to find them myself. Flawed Thinker says, your Aaron Hernandez auto is doing pretty good. Nice find. Last I saw it was at like $44. I'm hoping it gets close to 100. I'm hoping it gets close to, because I think the most recent sale was in the $100 range. Let's see. Where are we at? Aaron Hernandez. Was that a Sage auto? I can't remember. I had a $60 offer that I turned down. Go to sold. Well, a lot of sales. The one I have is not lit. There's not a sale sold on it, but a lot of them show in like the $50 range. So, but it was a Goodwill find. So if it goes for 44, I'll be a little disappointed because I had a 60. I mean, I'd like it to go for more than 60 since I did turn down a $60 offer. Zach and Porter says condiment on a lunch meat sandwich goes on the cheese before I put the top piece of bread on. Why is your wife still packing your lunch? Was this a reverse dowry? John says there's no corn in Atlanta or Miami. People acting like they have a lock on humidity. But I don't think there would be humidity in the Midwest without the corn. I don't know what there is a lot of humidity in the South. You know, Miami's surrounded by water. What is humidity? So I understand why South Florida and pretty much all of Florida, I understand why Florida is, I guess Atlanta's kind of close to the ocean, right? Mark says box 13 and your coffee cup belong in Cooperstown. There's no corn in my boxers and it's hot as balls down there. Zach says you should hang your meteorology degree up next to the baubles. You earned it. Show off the flex. I know, right? Brian laughs. We're way behind in the chat, aren't we? Like 20 minutes behind. People in gyms are to blame for humidity release more than corn. I have the data to back up. There's science. It's called corn sweat. Come on, get on board. Get on my level. August is almost over, and we haven't had a 90-degree day yet. Wow. We've probably only had, this might only be the second. I don't even, actually, I don't know if it hit 90 yesterday. I think in my car it was 88 when I went to the post office last night. Max says, yes, spring is the time after the snow melts when temps are 35 to 50, 60. That's not spring. That's fucking cold. Spring is like 60, I guess 55 to 70. It's a nice spring-like temperature. Flawed Thinker says, FYI, radio signals that travel across big plains of vegetative fields like corn or tall grass will lose power while moisture evaporates from them, in case you ever wondered. I never wondered, but that's fascinating. That is fascinating. You can't kick people out for negotiating. I'm not kicking anybody out. I just want to keep an eye on. And that's not really negotiating. That's not negotiating. Millions of decatherms of natural gas are burned every year, drying your damn sweating corn. Brian says popcorn. One guy in Texas is never going to Madison now. There is no law against being dumb. Max says, I've been told climate change is responsible for what you are complaining about. What am I complaining about? I love humidity. Bristol BB, good morning from Fond du Lac. What's going on, Fond du Lac? John says, my audit to renew my collector's insurance asked specifically if I had Magic the Gathering cards. What do you think that was all about? I have no idea. That's interesting. Victor is out with the flu. Oh my God, that sucks. So good time to participate in today's auction. Thank you. Brian, good morning. John says, only important stat on eBay is, and I knew that's where John was going. But that's, if your sales aren't where they want to be, you need metrics to find out why your sales are down or your sales are up. So that's why I explained it specifically for John Keating, because I knew he was going to. Old man, he's the old man. This stuff doesn't matter. Good morning, Lakeland, Florida. Kevin, what's going on? eBay launch angle. Zach says impressions are people driving by a billboard. There you go. A click is someone stopping to read it and call the number. There you go. Cooter says Ken identifies as an IndyCar fan. Calling an IndyCar a NASCAR fan is offensive, and you owe him an apology. It's all the same. They're all cars driving in circles. JW's in the house. Good morning. Nice Cubs win. Yes, it was. Oh, I'm not wearing. I thought I was wearing my W shirt. I'm not. Jody, good morning. Zach says Cooter is correct again. eBay most likely fudges the numbers. Kyle says NASCAR is alive and well, probably not as noticeable around metro areas like Philly or Chicago. Go to a rural county fair here, and NASCAR apparel outnumbers stick and ball sports 10-1. I can absolutely agree on that. You go to the Henry County Fair in Cambridge, Illinois, and you're going to see a lot of NASCAR fans, baby. Bars in my hometown are crowded on Sundays to watch NASCAR, and they have like raffles and shit, like betting on NASCAR races. Like, it's a thing. Get out, get out of the city, John. Johnny M says, thanks. Sales rate is 6.7%, but net sales are up 68% from last month. I'll take it. John says, I applaud NASCAR fans as they are true believers, not part of a trend. Plus, it's a lifestyle, which is also great. It's like country music, just not my thing and a little corny. Brian says, NASCAR isn't my thing, but I'll watch a race from time to time. But Demo Derby night at the fair this year was like a crazy NASCAR subculture. I love demo derbies. Johnny M goes mayo on bottom, mustard on top. Max says the bottom of the sandwich should be bread touching meat. That's it. Kyle says, well said, John. The business side of NASCAR is what really intrigues me. Zach says, I imagine this whole explanation, but applying it to someone telling someone why they aren't getting clicks on their hookup application of their choice. Condiments are garbage anyway. Buy better bread meat. I will say bread and meat are what make a sandwich, but I do love condiments. Unicorn Cupcake in the house. He agrees with Max. Oh, Max says he's always right. John says, my sons each use 3 different knives for a single PB&J. They are dopes. What? Okay, they've got 1 knife for peanut butter, 1 knife for jelly. What's the 3rd knife for? Mayo on both sides, mustard on one side, cheese near mayo side. Brian says fork for jelly. Really? Allows me to scramble the jelly and allows for equal coverage on the peanut butter. Now that's something I've never heard of, but it makes sense. Bob's in the house. Peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter on both pieces for bread with a knife. Spoon the jelly in the middle. Keeps the bread from getting soggy. That is mind-blowing. Bob, that is genius. That is fucking genius. I'm going to try that. I might try that today. Peanut butter on both sides with a knife and then spoon in the jelly in the middle. That sounds next level. Bob is on another level from us. Billy Joe says spoons are only used for cereal in milk. Incorrect. Nah, I can't agree with that. Try spooning your jelly onto a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's completely different. Dan is hosting a player collector roundtable Friday night, 8 o'clock Central. Very nice. Brian says, look, we can all disagree on sandwich making etiquette, but only serial killers pour milk first, then cereal. Amen. Amen to that. Brian goes jelly first, wipe knife off on the bread, then peanut butter. Jelly molds up fast if you put dirty knife in it. But yeah, that's what I will. I'll always do jelly first. And when I do the knife, I do wipe the jelly off the bread before I put it in the peanut butter. It's much easier to wipe a knife off with jelly than wiping a knife off with peanut butter. Max says PBJ is for kids. I collect baseball. You collect Pokemon, Max. Come on. You sell fucking Pokemon cards, and you're telling me peanut butter and jelly is for kids? Get the fuck out of here. Come on. Peanut butter and jelly is for kids. What the fuck? I'm going to have it for lunch today while I'm looking at baseball cards. Brian agrees with the other Brian. American Psycho. Move milk before cereal. I agree. Mark says, my PB&J is a triple decker. First and third layer is the peanut butter. A little sloppy, but worth it. I like it. I like the triple-decker PB&J. John says, you missed the part where I said my kids are dopes. You can wipe the knife on the jar, the bread, your shorts. They grew up in a house where there's unlimited knives, I suppose. Zach says, Max, a lot of people say that about sports cards and TCG. I ignore them too because I love PB&J. Amen. We had one neighborhood knife when I was growing up. We called it Maze. Wisconsin, surrounded by lakes. Where does Johnny live? We had a month of 95 plus with humidity. July just sucked. It was relatively cool here. Well, I was gone for 2 weeks, but the 2 weeks I was here in July, it was relatively cool for late July. Brian says, speaking of Aaron Hernandez, I sold my last Wander Franco Tops Now PSA 10 yesterday for $5. What's wrong with people? I actually sold a Wander Franco out of my dollar box at the Janesville show. I couldn't believe it. Somebody handed me, I'm like, do you know how many you have? And they're like, just hand. And that's what I do. Like when I'm digging through a bargain box, most of the time I'm not counting because I'm usually buying a whole pile. So I just hand them to the dealer and make them count. So somebody handed me a stack of cards from the dollar box. And so I'm going through and sometimes I just kind of, because I'm curious, like, what are people buying? And I sold a Wander Franco for $1. It's like, how'd that get in there? That should have been in the quarter box. But hey, I'll take the $1. Max says, I don't care. PB&J spoon. There you go. I didn't use a spoon on peanut butter and jelly until like a few years ago. I went like 35 years of my life using a knife. And then I went to the spoon, and it's game changing. Humidity, not climate change, I believe. MTG linked to devil worship. That's where the insurance questions come from. I've had many months where my sales were up, yet my impressions were down. Please mansplain that to me. There could be different reasons for that. Depends on what you were listing. If you list, depends on your price. If you list a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 2 for $5,000, it's probably going to sell pretty fast. And there's not going to be many impressions. Your sales are going to be up. Your impressions are going to be down because there's only going to be 3 impressions on it because the first person that sees it's going to buy it. So maybe 1 impression. So there's a lot that can go into it. But if you do enough volume, you'll see trends and why it is the way it is. Flawed Thinker says, today was my wife's first day of university. I messed up in agreeing that I would buy her a new to her car when she graduated. She now said she's going to try to finish early. Time to save up. There you go. Good luck. You're on the clock now. Max says, having bad sales on eBay, price is too high. Nobody wants your shit. You're not paying eBay enough to promote your shit. That's all you need. That's about why are your sales bad? Well, you don't have stuff that people are buying or your prices are too high. That's pretty much why it is. Brian says, you had great conversations. There's your explanation. Max says, the only time I see NASCAR shirts anywhere around here is the high schoolers with the shitty looking haircuts that look like they are wearing a rug on their head. Cooter says, I love your Keating grumpy voice. You should use it anytime you read his comments. PBJ talk is awesome. Yes, I agree. Dan's in the house. Odd Merchants, what's going on? Plotchman's mustard is a must on any ham sandwich. I'm not a big mustard guy. I should be. Just down the road from me, like 2 miles, is the world's mustard, or the National Mustard Museum. I've only been there once, and it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool, but it's also one of those places where you only need to go once. It's a mustard museum, but they do have a lot of mustard for sale. Pretty much any mustard you could think of. But I'm not a big mustard guy. If I do typically I'll do regular yellow mustard on a hot dog. I don't do mustard on brats. I think mustard and brats, I just don't like the taste of mustard and brats. I just do ketchup and sauerkraut on a brat. Yes, I put ketchup on my brats. I do like Boji's mustard. It's a spicy mustard out of the Quad Cities. And that's about it. Sometimes I like honey mustard. It's a nice dippable a dippable condiment. But otherwise, I'm not really, and I don't do, those things I don't use very often. Peter says, I toast the bread and then put on PB&J. The warmth of the toast is nice. Yeah, and it also melts the peanut butter a little bit, which also makes it very messy. Unicorn Cupcake says, I don't think I've ever had a PB and jelly sandwich. What? It's always been PB and jam. Okay. I think they're one and the same. I think we can say jam and jelly are about the same, right? I don't even know what's in my fridge. It might be jam. It might be jelly. I don't know. Max says, I don't collect Pokemon. Well, you sell it. You have Pokemon cards in your house. You're a little kid. It's a little kid game. Brian says, too bad for you, bro. Johnny M's in New York. Kyle says, so we covered NASCAR, proper peanut butter and jelly techniques. Are we to the shit your pants part of the show? Pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see. Double A Cards, good morning. Odd Merchant says, I went to a terrible show last weekend in Andover, Minnesota. Pretty much all modern, ultra modern football. Not a single box of any late 90s, early 2000s cards. Yuck. You know what? You're not going to find late 90s, early 2000s at like any card show. Even at my shows, 200 tables, there might be a few tables that have some of that. Most shows I go to, I do not see. And that's kind of why I like, if there's a quarter box or a dollar box or a dime box that has that, I'm excited because all I ever see is ultra modern Bowman and really a lot of football and basketball in bargain boxes. It's like, where's the baseball? But I rarely see 90s and 2000s and never any junk. Well, I shouldn't say never. I see junk wax, but it's usually like complete sets and wax boxes, but not like bargain boxes with junk wax. I would love to find a quarter box and a dollar box of like 80s and 90s stuff. And when I get a big collection of that stuff and I put it in a quarter box or a dollar box, it flies because you don't see it at shows. Brian says, I'm glad MD finally used my initials. Only my friends and family call me BJ. Now you're tight. You guys are tight bros now. Odd Merchant says, plus dealers were about 20% higher than comps on everything. I was seeing Donruss Baker rookies for $20. I was buying these Bakers on ComC for 75 cents last season. Jam and jelly are not the same. I had jelly when younger, but loved jam as an adult. I don't know what is the difference between jam. I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you what the difference between jam and jelly are, and I probably have both in my refrigerator right now. I have no idea what the difference is. I think they're the same. Max says, I have 500,000 NASCAR cards too. I'm not a cousin fucker. Well, you might be. I don't know you that well. You could be a cousin fucker. Cooter says, ketchup in a brat, man card permanently revoked. I know, and my Chicago card is taken away because I put ketchup on hot dogs as well. I'm a psychopath. I'm sorry. Happy Tuesday. Grinding for goods here. Orlando said, saw the great interview you did, Bo. Ernie was wanting attention. Yes. Ernie's normally, so what Orlando is talking about is my chat with Victor, the rookie card specialist. We talked about promoting card shows, and Ernie was down here with me, and he really wanted attention. So I had to grab him for a moment, and then he escaped, and I didn't have my door shut, so he ran upstairs. My wife's like, "Did Ernie get away?" Like, yeah, sorry, I was on a podcast. Odd Merchant says, I bought 6 5,000 card late 90s to early 2000s for 150 tons of stars and Hall of Famers showcase finest mystique. Oh, baby. At a show last year, bought the table. Love those buys. Love those buys. Unicorn Cupcake says, jam has texture jelly. Or jam has texture, jelly is jelly. Now I'm curious. So because I'm going to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch today, now I'm curious. I'm going to use Bob's method. We're going to do peanut butter on both pieces of bread. We're going to spoon the jam or jelly, whatever's in my fridge, in the middle. And I'm going to check, do I have jam or jelly or both in my refrigerator? Because I honestly don't know. I just kind of go and look to see what looks the best. Like, oh, that looks good. Where are we at? Zach says that 1997 Joe Montana had few impressions, still bummed about it. There you go. There's an example. Joe Montana sold right away, probably had 3 impressions. Putting in my PTO on workday now. I thought I was over it. 1987. Cooter says, have a great day. Have to go slave away for the man. Have fun. Sheena says, according to Google, jam is made with real fruits, whereas jelly is fruit juice. Okay, now we have an explanation. Thank you, Sheena. Interesting. Dan says, jelly is made with strained fruit juice. There are no pieces of fruit in jelly. Jam is made with mashed fruit, preserves, and yeah, there's preserves. I think I have preserves probably in my fridge. Is that different? Is that jam or jelly, or is that just on its own also? Preserves have whole fruit or large pieces of fruit. I think we have some preserves. I honestly don't know, but I'm curious. Isn't the different seeds included? Members Mark PB is the best on the market made with sea salt. Oh, I'll have to check that out. What about marmalade? Lady Marmalade. Zach and Porter says that is why Jeff had great quarter and dime boxes. Circle table guy too. He has the stuff you speak of. Yes. Jeff, who sets up in Madison every month. I did ask, I'm like, do you do the Oak Creek show? He does not. The only show Jeff does, and I feel honored by this, the only show he does is Madison. Outside of, he does the National, the Chicago Spectacular, and the Madison Card Show. Those are the only card shows he sets up at. I'm like, I'm kind of honored that's I'm the only show you do besides the Spectacular and the National. Dell sets up every once in a while. He sets up maybe probably 3 times a year in Madison. Not quite every quarter. Dell is the circle table guy that Zach speaks of. And I think Dell does do Oak Creek every month. But yeah, both Dell and Jeff have awesome bargain boxes because they both have non-sport and they both have like 80s and 90s stuff. That's a lot of fun. Dan says preserves and jam are more similar, like Dan likes strawberry preserves. All right. So, hey, before I go, let's take a look at the auctions ending tonight. We're going to go live tonight, 7 p.m. Central. 7 p.m. Central tonight here on this YouTube channel. We've got football auctions ending on eBay. So let's go check these out. This is my store, 99centcards.com. Where can we find? Oh, there we go. Right there in front of me. Auctions. So here's some auctions. We've got Jim Johnson, a 72 Topps high number football card, currently at $1.76 plus shipping. There is shipping on all of my auctions this week, with the exception of the 3 baseball. Because some 99-cent auctions, I don't want to list auctions and lose money. I'll lose money on buy it now, but I don't want to on auction. Here's a 2010 press pass, not Sage. Okay, so now I want to see what those recent sales were. 2010 press pass. Aaron Hernandez auto. What else? The bidding for the Aaron Rodgers rookie, which isn't on the screen yet, but got some bids on that yesterday because it was at like $3 yesterday morning. I'm like, Jesus. Let's see. One sold in June for like just over $50 on that Aaron Hernandez. And that's it. There's a tag 10. The other ones were graded. So I'm hoping it gets to 60 because I did have a $60 offer on it. So I'm hoping it gets to at least 60 so I don't feel remorse over declining the offer. 1972 Topps high number Earl Morale is currently at $32.69. The Panini Prism No Huddle Jordan Love only at $1.50. Which I thought there would be more action on this, but I talked to some dealers this weekend, and Jordan Love wasn't moving like was thought, which is crazy. Maybe people are kind of waiting to see how things are going to turn out with his playing this year. But I thought he'd be the hottest name, especially here in Wisconsin. I thought he'd be the hottest seller, but that was not the case. Caleb Williams, he's been pretty hot in card sales. I've got 3 Caleb Williams cards up for auction ending tonight. 2022 Pro Set Draft Red is at $1.25. A Leaf Draft is at 99 cents. And the Goodwin Champions Splash of Color insert is currently at 99 cents. We've got the 2000 Pacific Ornaments Peyton Manning cool card. It's at $2.25. The Aaron Rodgers rookie bid up to $20.60. The Erasmus James auto is at 99 cents. The Abdul Hodge auto, $1.25. A 1970 Topps Elvin Bethea, 99 cents. The Torrey Holt Gold Label rookie, $1.76. No bids yet on Travis Kelce's Epic Performers. No bids, starting bid 99 cents. Javid Best, numbered out of 50 autograph from Sage, is at $1.76. The Joique Bell auto out of 200 is at 99 cents. Here's a low serial number football card from 2000 Pacific Paramount, Tony Banks. This is serial numbered out of 130. No bids yet. Josh Allen card doesn't have any bids, a Mosaic Elevate card. Another Travis Kelce Touchdown Masters, no bids. Brock Purdy Mosaic has a bid at 99 cents. 2007 Topps Chrome Peyton Manning, no bids yet on that. I'm surprised. The 07 Chrome Refractor Donovan McNabb has a bid at 99 cents. The Marvin Harrison Skybox Impact rookie card has a bid at 99 cents. Here's a Jordy Nelson out of 49 from 2016 Panini Prime Signatures, $2. Couple Rob Gronkowski's from Press Pass and Sage, 99 cents are the bids on those. We've got a Tom Brady 2004 Upper Deck at $1.58. 2015 Rainbow Foil Bowman, $1.75. The Heritage Blackback Brady, $1.25. 2002 Upper Deck Piece of History Brady, $2. No bids on this Tom Brady 2004 Fleer Hot Prospects. No bids on a 99 Collector's Edge Kurt Warner, which is one of his early football cards. No bids on this Pro Set Auto Leo Chenal from the Kansas City Chiefs. Justin Jefferson Optic Silver Prism doesn't have any bids. The greatest upset in college football history ticket stub, Appalachian State beat Michigan. That is currently bid up to $3. The J.J. Watt Wisconsin Badgers Best Buy card, currently at 99 cents. We had one of those end last week, sold for over $20. 2000 Fleer Skybox Dominion Japanese Characteristics Emmitt Smith is currently at $4. The Gronkowski rookie is bid up to $5.50. 75 Topps O.J. Simpson currently at $4.75. The 72 Topps Dick Butkus is at $3.25. The 76 Topps Roger Staubach at $4.25. We've got some Steelers from 76 Topps. The Lynn Swan currently bid at 99 cents. Terry Bradshaw's at $3.25. A silver prism from 2014 Brett Favre is at $1.25. Gronkowski Bowman Rainbow Foil, $1.25. Golden Tate from Notre Dame, 2010 Press Pass Auto, $2.25. The Camel Refractor of T.Y. Hilton, numbered out of $4.99, rookie card at $3.25. The Michael Crabtree Auto out of 200 is bid up to $5.10. Dual Auto, Brian Cushing and James Casey, currently at 99 cents. Hey, the Jared Kelly 40-man futures orange refractor, numbered out of 25. This one was not paid for. The final bid was 99 cents with free shipping. It's still free shipping, but it's at $1.25. So I'm glad the person didn't pay an extra quarter in my pocket. Hopefully, if this person pays. The Jesus Sanchez gold refractor is at $4.25, and the gold mirror Ryan McMahon is currently at $7.50. So those are some of the auctions that are ending tonight. Those are all the auctions that are ending tonight. We're going to go live starting at 7 p.m. Central Time. Auctions start ending at, I believe, 7:15. So come on and join me live this evening starting at 7 as we count down the final auctions. Brian says, might be heading back into the beverage industry. Brian, you've had more jobs in the last 4 months than I've had my entire lifetime. Heading back. Good luck. Good luck. Zach and Porter says, wait, his name is Dell. This just improved that man's standings on my list. Yeah, Dime Box Dell. JW says, going to Walmart today to see if they have anything worth ripping, then possibly to the bar for my free birthday drink. Happy birthday, JW, the big 4-5. I can see 50 right around the corner. Oh, man. JW says, supposed to be super hot today here, under a heat warning, going to soak up the AC. Same here, man. Same here. It's humid. It's hot. Happy birthday and be safe, says Unicorn Cupcake. Alrighty, hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store. I did add over 300 new items to the store inventory yesterday. Check them out. Buy 7 or more at regular price. Save 25% off at checkout. Auctions ending tonight. And we'll also be starting some new auctions. So non-sport auctions, we'll fire those off starting tonight as well. And we'll do another live stream next Tuesday to count down those auctions. Brian says, I didn't want to change jobs, but my current one doesn't seem to have job security. Well, that's a bummer. You want security. All righty. So like, subscribe, visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Tune in tonight, 7 p.m. Central. If you can't see me tonight, we'll be back on tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Central for Hobby Evolution. Hopefully, I'll see you in 12 hours, 11 hours. See you then.